Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we, try to figure out what's going on in the corporate world. Today, we're diving into Kineta's latest 10K filing, and let me tell you, it's a wild ride. This report is basically a corporate drama filled with strategic shifts, potential mergers, and financial tightropes. It's like watching a reality show, but with more footnotes. Before we begin, a word of caution. This filing is jam-packed with forward-looking statements. That means a lot of we expect, we believe, and we plan. But as we know, what a company expects and what actually happens can be two very different things, especially when it comes to the world of biotech. The big story here is that Kineta is trying to merge with a company called 2Hura Biosciences. Think of a merger like two puzzle pieces trying to fit together. If this deal goes through, Kineta's stockholders will get a mix of 2Hura stock and cash. The amount of stock and cash will depend on Kineta's net working capital, basically how much cash Kineta has at closing minus what they owe. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The amount they get will vary depending on the company's actual situation, which in turn creates uncertainty. The real value of what Kineta's shareholders get could change. It's like saying you're getting a mystery box. You know it contains something, but you won't know what it is until it arrives. Also, there's a chance the whole thing falls apart, which wouldn't be ideal given their existing issues. The deal has a lot of conditions attached. Kineta's stockholders have to approve it. 2Hura has to complete a financing deal bringing in at least $35 million, and 2Hura stockholders need to approve increasing the number of authorized shares, to name a few. If 2Hura can't get the financing done in time, then Kineta can terminate the merger. It's like trying to bake a cake, but needing to make sure you have all ingredients before mixing, which requires to complete the financing round on time. To discourage other companies from swooping in with a better offer, Kineta also agreed not to actively solicit other bids. However, if Kineta gets a really good offer from someone else, the company could back out of the 2Hura deal, but it'll cost them a $1 million termination fee, which could prove to be inadequate. In a separate move, Kineta is selling off some of its assets to HCRX Investments and Pacira Pharmaceuticals. These sales include rights to deals with big names like Genentech and Merck. The assets are being sold off for a nominal fee and the right to receive a percentage of future payment in that asset. It's like holding a garage sale to get rid of stuff you don't need before moving. They're also ending a partnership with Gigagen and transferring the rights to their CD27 program back to Gigagen, which includes waiving almost $200,000 of pending payments from them. It's a strategic pivot, to say the least. The company has implemented a corporate restructuring to cut costs, which included laying off approximately 64% of its workforce. They're pausing new patient enrollment in a clinical trial for their drug KVA-12123. They blame the restructuring on the fact that certain investors failed to fulfill their contractual obligation to fund them, meaning the money they were expecting didn't arrive, which of course made a mess of everything. Kineta is focused on developing immunotherapies, drugs that help your immune system fight cancer. Their lead drug, KVA-12123, targets a protein called VISTA, which can suppress the immune system in tumors. They're aiming for cancers with high VISTA expression, like lung, colon, and ovarian cancer. However, this market is highly competitive, and other companies are also developing VISTA-blocking therapies. The company is running a Phase 1-2 clinical trial with KVA-12123 with so far good results. The safety profile looks pretty good, as KVA-12123 was well tolerated at all doses and no dose-limiting toxicities were observed. This data is important because it shows the drug is safe for use in humans. Kineta has a collaboration deal with Merck, which means they're testing KVA-12123 in combination with Merck's Keytruda, which is another drug already approved. In addition to its product, they have built a war chest of intellectual property around their two key drugs, VISTA and anti-CD27. However, Kineta may have to participate in interference proceedings to determine priority of invention or in post-grant challenge proceedings. Such proceedings could result in substantial cost, even if the eventual outcome is favorable. Kineta's IP strategy will need to manage public disclosures prior to patent application filing and manage the timing of filing the patent application, as this approach helps to protect the innovative science at Kineta and to protect its intellectual property. They outsource the manufacturing of their drugs to third-party companies and clinical trials to third-party research companies. Kineta faces competition from big pharmaceutical companies with greater resources and expertise. Immunotherapies in development by other parties may provide efficacy, safety, convenience, and other benefits that are not provided by currently marketed therapies, which may provide significant competition for any of Kineta's product candidates for which it obtains marketing approval. The main approach right now to cancer treatments is focused on CPI immune checkpoint inhibitors, and they are working to differentiate themselves. Like all pharmaceutical companies, Kineta has to navigate a whole slew of regulations from the FDA and other government agencies, which require them to test extensively in preclinical and clinical trials for their safety. Changes in these regulations could delay the approval of the products, increase the costs of compliance, or restrict the ability to maintain any marketing authorizations they may have obtained. Okay, let's talk financials. For the year, Kineta had zero revenue, which is not great but also not surprising. Operating expenses were $13.5 million, resulting in a net loss of $17.1 million. Not a pretty picture. As of the end of the year, they had only $634,000 in cash, which is really low. This raises substantial doubt about their ability to continue as a going concern. Another major issue, Kineta has identified material weaknesses in its internal control over financial reporting. If these are not fixed, it will impact investor confidence in stock price and may trigger SEC investigations. Kineta has identified NSCLC, SCCHN, OC, CRC, and RCC as potential initial indications for KVA12123. However, even if Kineta is successful in developing, commercializing, and achieving higher levels of reimbursement than its competitors, Kineta may not be able to compete against them, and Kineta's business would be materially harmed. There's also a breach of contract lawsuit they've filed against Growth and Value Development Inc., or GVDI, and Myron Wolf, alleging that they recently backed out of providing a funding. Alright, so that was the overview. What's the big picture here? Kineta is clearly at a crossroads. On the one hand, their lead drug, KVA12123, shows promise as a novel immunotherapy. On the other hand, they're facing financial headwinds, a messy merger situation, and internal control problems. Here's my take. Strengths. The most significant strength is the science behind KVA12123. If it continues to show promise in clinical trials, it could be a valuable asset. The renewed patient enrollment indicates some confidence in the project. Weaknesses. Their cash position is clearly a major weakness. The restructuring was a necessary evil, but relying solely on one drug is very risky. The outcome of strategic alternatives, potential liquidation, or bankruptcy could negatively impact shareholders. Risks. There's a lot riding on this merger with 2Hura. If it doesn't go through, it's unclear what Kineta's next move will be, and given the current conditions, it can be difficult to forecast whether 2Hura can complete its concurrent investments. The potential for lawsuits and the ongoing regulatory hurdles are also looming concerns. Opportunities. If the company does merge with 2Hura, this could allow them to share administrative overhead and focus on the product. Conclusion. Kineta is a high-risk, high-reward situation. Their success hinges on a successful merger, positive clinical trial results, and navigating a complex regulatory landscape. For investors, it's definitely a gamble, not a safe bet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the corporate world, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe for more videos. Let me know which company you'd like me to decode next.